Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up. Again, they got go. Time to wake up. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big chair. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Fight, walk, folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face.
Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza.
With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Tuesday. This is just the pre-show for Tuesday night's main event. That's it. That's all CobraCast is. Just a pre-show for the big show today, Tuesday night's main event. But we got a lot to talk about today. Hope you're all doing well. We had a long day yesterday of streaming. I had a lot of fun streaming. We did 2 CobraCast and we did a Fortnite stream. And pretty soon, we're going to do a Rocket League stream on D-Day Cobra Gaming. All right. So that should be fun. I haven't played Rocket League in years. Warning, I am not good at Rocket League at all, but I still like playing it. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We got Marmillin with not 1, but 2 pre-stream grift tax for $10. Pre-stream chat grift tax and says double it for the miss. Hail the snake pit. Look at that. You want to talk about principles? That's principles right there. Marmillin says no one is actually good at it, Jeremy. I mean, listen, I used to live in a world where everyone was retarded, and then I played with someone that was really good at Rocket League, and I never wanted to play it again. So, yeah, I mean, geez. Van says, why do you only play lame kid games? 2 seconds ago, you were crying that all of my favorite movies are depressing. Now you're crying that I only play kid games. Go fuck yourself. How about that? All right. You have a profile picture of a fucking kitten talking about me playing kids games. You have a profile picture of a fucking kitten. There's nothing more pathetic than that. Maybe get a real profile picture before you talk shit, okay? A fucking kitten. What kind of retard talks shit with a kitten? Look at this shit. That's your fucking profile picture? Is it to represent that you're a fucking pussy? Anyway, Mike Hill says, John Boyega said he wouldn't watch Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones because there's not a single black person in them, doesn't want to watch one type of people in them. I did see that clip, but I saw the quote making the rounds. I'm not sure he said that. It wouldn't surprise me if he said that. Yeah, I'll have to get more information before I'm willing to just go off on his comment about that. But I did see the quote that was circulating. Again, I would not be surprised if he said it, but I don't know for sure that he said that, because on social media, everything is, you have to question everything you see before you react to it. But I did see that quote going around, and it wouldn't surprise me because John Boyega is an idiot. Dark Red Knight says, you think JD Advance slays tons of pussy? Bro. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, are you kidding? Did you see the intro? Like, what chick would not want to hook up with JD Advanced? Seriously. Let's see. Jeremy Kits Kittens. I have nothing against cats. It's simply that they're not dogs, because dogs are just superior to cats in every way. They are. Like, cats are like women. Like, they have an attitude all the time. You can't do anything right. And then obviously when they want something, they start loving up on you. But the moment that you need something from them, they don't want anything to do with you. That's what a cat is. Just like a fucking woman. So, Dark Red, I got that one. Samwise says pre-show tax. Look at there. Point of personal privilege says I am gay. The tent pole for 5 says nothing. Nas says under 2 minutes past the intro, and I haven't put the headphones on trying to listen to at work already. Oh man, sorry about that. I've already offended. That's what my job is around here. Hey, listen, everyone. Don't panic. Don't be a panicking. U.S. stocks are surging and oil prices are dropping off news that tensions could soon ease in the Iran war. Trump has a plan. Don't panic. America will succeed and the world will be a better place.
Past the hour now, and you're looking at the American stock market is, fair to say, surging. It's up 933 points right now. This as oil prices are dropping. Just down about 1% or $1. Let's bring in Wall Street Journal editor-at-large and Fox News contributor Jerry Baker. So there's Wall Street Journal report.
So don't be a panicking, everybody. Now, I saw Gator in the chat said, not in Cali. Yeah, that's your problem. All right? That's a you problem. If you're in California, you can't blame Trump for any of your problems. Just saying. And California is a beautiful state with tons of Republicans. But yeah, I know you know. But your leadership is horrifically bad. But hopefully it's sad, man, because like I said, California, the coast and Northern California, it's just beautiful there, man. It's absolutely gorgeous. But the leadership is just so bad, but it is a truly beautiful place. And this is where, like, you know how I talk about, like the other day, you know, a bunch of conservatives were, because stupid ass Lindsey Graham's at Disney. And so you have a bunch of conservatives that don't have any concept of what Walt Disney World is, just make these ridiculous claims by having no knowledge. It's the same thing that happens to California. People that have never been to California, they simply judge California as Los Angeles. They have no concept of California. They have none. They have no understanding. In their minds, California is Los Angeles and Hollywood. And that's their only concept of it. And they just complain about it and run their mouths about it. They have no understanding of how beautiful Northern California is. They have no understanding that there are more registered Republicans in the state of California than any state in the United States of America, because they're stupid. They're very stupid people that don't do any research whatsoever, and they have no perspective outside of their own little warped view. Same as upstate New York and New York City, 1,000%. Now, I have never spent a lot of time outside of New York City to directly say that I am familiar with it, but I'm at least understanding of it. I've been to New York City a few times. I hate it with passion. It's just way too busy for me. It's chaos. I hate, like, it, don't get me wrong, like being there, like to experience New York City and Times Square is cool, but I would never want to be there like consistently. It's way too fast paced for me, and it's just not my cup of tea. So, but again, this happens to people. People just get this one little warped view of something, and they have no understanding of the greater picture, and they just generalize like crazy. It is what it is. It's a common thing on YouTube. So, and on social media in general. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? No way. Hasan was on CNN. No. Hasan was on CNN. No. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Story is for the first time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Paint us a picture of what it's like on the ground. What'd you see?
When I first landed in Cuba, I was taken aback by how beautiful everything was. You got the 1950s cars, and it's a tropical island destination. But very quickly thereafter, as soon as we got into Havana, the main city area.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't even react to this shit because I just don't even want to hear his voice. But that is pretty funny that he was on there. My goodness. Where we at? Van says, cats are great. I run a forever sanctuary. They're better than most people. Man on Fire is depressing. Fortnite and Rocket League are for kids. Man on Fire is not depressing at all. What the fuck are you talking about? Man on Fire is not a depressing movie. It's an inspiring movie. It's about humanity. It's about someone that lost his way, that found God and found a new, reason to live. It's literally the definition of an inspiring movie. The fuck is wrong with you? Holy shit. How do you think Man on Fire is a depressing movie? Kristi lived a life. He did horrible things. He struggled with it. He struggled with alcohol. He was depressed. He questioned everything he did. He then met Dakota Fanning, is that her name? Her character. And at first was annoyed by her because he just took a job to get a paycheck, and then developed a bond with her and cared about her. And her existence gave him a new reason to live. He puts down the alcohol. He picks up the Bible. He's inspired. He teaches her. He helps develop her. He helps her become a better person. And without getting into the details of the movie beyond that, we all know that something happens. And then the rest of the movie goes on. And then we know how it ends, for those that have seen it. To call that a depressing movie means you're a depressing human being that don't understand anything. But that is a fucking retarded take. Absolutely retarded take. Let's see. John Jones says, watch California's electoral count crater once non-citizens are removed from the census. Taco Woman Sandy Rapish says that you heard that Kristi Noem's husband cross-dresses. I did. Okay, we got to talk about it. All right. Denzel was awesome in that movie. I think Denzel, it might be his, it's my favorite Denzel movie. Is it his best performance? It probably is his best performance. It's close, all right? But listen, we got to talk about this shit, okay? Because this is wild. This is wild. Kristi Noem's having a tough time right now, okay? Kristi Noem is having a real tough time. Oh boy. Can I show this picture? Okay, I have to make sure. I hope I can show. You know what? Hang on. Got to be careful here. It's not that I can't show it, it's that the YouTube AI might pick up on something. All right. All right. Kristi Noem weighs in on report husband lives cross-dressing double life. The family was blindsided by this. Former Department of Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem is devastated by salacious allegations by her husband, allegations her husband Byron lives a double life where he cross-dresses and chats online with fetish models. Mrs. Noem is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at this time. Noem's representative told the Post. According to reporting by the Daily Mail, Byron Noem chatted up women with so-called bimbo fiction. What is that? I've never even heard of this. Bimbofication? Fetish scene? What is that? What the hell is that? Why do we have to learn about this shit? Why do I don't even know what this is. Why do I have to learn this? Are you fucking kidding me? Get your shit off my screen. In which adult performers augment their breast with massive amounts of saline to achieve a Barbie doll-like appearance. What? Noem's family was blindsided by this, citing hundreds of messages purportedly sent by three women from the scene. Noem's husband enthusiastically praised their heavily augmented appearances and proclaimed he coveted huge, ridiculous boobs. I think everybody can relate to that one comment right there. Okay. Everybody can relate to that one comment. All right. So one photo the Mail claims Byron Noem shared with women features him. Wait a minute. Him wearing pink hot pants and a flesh-colored skin-tight suit. Listen, I have said this many times, okay? I have said this many times. Those that preach the loudest have the most to hide. Byron equals Brian, just a figgy spelling of Byron. This is one of the pictures reportedly from the Daily Mail. Now, the Daily Mail is the Daily Mail, okay? So, I don't know how much stock we can put into the Daily Mail. I think this is fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And at the end of the day, man, stop pretending that you're some goody two-shoes person. Stop pretending that you're better than other people and just admit that we're all a little fucked up in some way, shape, or form. But when people are constantly projecting, they don't want you to be thinking about, they don't want you to think about them in any negative light whatsoever. Someone that, to me, is the perfect example of this. Some people aren't going to like this. but it's John Cena. I think John Cena is one of the most phony people. I also think The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, I think we all know Dwayne Johnson's a phony, but like I think John Cena is a complete fraud. And John Cena wants everyone to think that he's a great man who cares about people. Like he wants you to believe that. He needs you to believe that. And it feels so forced. It feels so phony. And of course, Dwayne Johnson's the same way. Dwayne Johnson's just a pathetic fraud in every sense of the word. But yeah, so it's been a rough time for Kristi Noem. You know, she's been under fire with everything from the Trump administration. There were reports that she was fired. I don't think she was fired. I think she was, moved to a different position, but who knows? But ultimately, yeah, so apparently she has a cross-dressing husband. And apparently they were blindsided by this. Do you believe she was blindsided by this, though? Because, like, I don't really know how. I question your ability to make any judgments in life if the person that's that close to you, if you had no understanding of that. There's either two ways to look at this. Either you're lying or you're an incredibly naive human being. Neither one of these are good. Neither one of these are good. But I'm going to side on that I believe that she knew. And which is why you look at the reports. Who was it? Was it Corey Lewandowski? I think there was reports that her and Corey Lewandowski were hooking up or whatever, if I'm not mistaken. And so what a wild story, man. What a wild story. What a fall from grace from this chick right here. So, does he wear her stuff? I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting yeah. And I'm betting that she knew about his effed up situation. So, the memes are pretty funny right now. But there's only so much I can show. Like some of the outfits that this guy's dressing up in, they are YouTube friendly, but I worry about the AI bots picking up pictures of the nipples that he has on. So I'm not going to play them. But yeah, pretty crazy story. So congrats to the gnomes, I guess, for being weird as fuck. Point of personal privilege says I farted. Philip Johnson says, Jeremy's right. Your profile picture is important. See there? There you go. Good job, Philip. I appreciate that. Nandy for 50 says, Kristi, come over here to New Jersey. I can fix you. Good old Nandy. Shooting his shot. Shooting his shot. I respect it. Maybe she's watching right now, Nandy. Maybe she is. Maybe she hits you up in the DM. She's like, yo, what's up? Tell her, like, I don't care if you killed animals. I don't care if you got a fucked up husband. I don't care if you're sleeping around with people in the Trump administration. Come on over to New Jersey. I got you, girl. I respect it. Oh, man. Yeah, Gator says, I hope you don't have a dog, Nandy. Damn, man. What a freaking disaster. And I do think that that's some people's problem with the conservative side, which I do understand that. On the conservative side, you have a lot of people that, they preach about, Christian conservative values and all of this, but a lot of them have a lot of skeletons behind the closet. You know what I mean? And that's why I think Trump is so successful, is because Trump is about as authentic as you can get. Nobody is questioning, like who Trump is. And he has never pretended to be anything other than who he is. And I think that's why he's so successful. But he is surrounded, and it's not just he, the entire political atmosphere, whether it's Republican or Democrat, is full of horrible, disgusting people. It's why I often talk about the show House of Cards on Netflix. minus the final season. But House of Cards, especially in those first few seasons, it does such a great job of explaining the filth of Washington, the filth of politics, and how dirty and slimy it is. It is so good. I think House of Cards is one of the best series ever made outside of the final season, which is one of the worst seasons. Honestly, I'll say it right now. House of Cards, the final season of House of Cards, is the single worst season of television ever created. Yes, it's worse than Game of Thrones. And for those that don't understand the context of that, Kevin Spacey, who was a horrible human being in real life, but he was the star of House of Cards, and he got caught up in a lot of legal stuff with accusations of a lot of different things. And ultimately, he was fired and basically kicked out of Hollywood. So they got rid of him, and then they essentially turned the entire final season into a pro-feminist propaganda show. And it was awful. It makes Game of Thrones season 8 look like a masterpiece. So, but that doesn't take away from watching the first several seasons of House of Cards. It is phenomenal. You will love it, I promise. If you're interested, Chuck says Speed Racer is getting released in 4K and in theaters again. It's one of my favorite childhood movies. I can't wait to see it again. Is it getting released in theaters again? Really? That's cool. When is that happening? The Skeleton King says Jeremy pretending like he doesn't know what it means. I have never heard that word. Look, man, I know about some effed up stuff, but I've never heard that particular term. But I go back to, there's a comedian, Sebastian Maniscalco, and he talked about this. I wonder if I could find that clip and play it. But like the internet and finding out all these weirdos fetishes and shit, like that's the sad reality now, is that we used to not know about this. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. I think this is it. This is it right here. This is perfect right here. Okay? This is it. Perfect.
This internet, there's something for everybody, right? You got some weird fetish, some weird thing you do? Look at how weird it just got in here, huh? Some of you are into this type of behavior. But if you like something weird, if you're an adult, you like to dress up as a baby, there's a website for you. 30 years ago, if you like to dress up as a baby, nobody knew that.
Yes.
You did that in the privacy of your own home. If you ever came out of your house with a diaper on, your neighbor would go, look at this shit, call the FBI, get this shit out of the neighborhood, right? It was handled. But today, just throw it up in the Google. I like to dress up as a baby. Next thing you know, they're at the Hilton on a Saturday with 863 people that like to do this shit.
This is so accurate, man. Oh, fuck. That is so true. So again, it kind of goes back into my theory that I always talk about, that the world is not more effed up today than it was before. The world has always been effed up, and people have always been effed up. The problem is that we now have more information than we've ever had before. That is the problem. We have far more information, we have far more knowledge, and we have far more understanding. But effed up people were still effed up back in the 70s, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, back in the 2000s. It was always that way. Okay? Unfortunately, now we know, because these idiots love to tell us all of their, deep, dark fantasies, which is inherently a mental illness, in my opinion. I don't think that you're mentally ill because you have fantasies or secrets. Everybody has fantasies, and secrets. I think you're mentally ill because you think it's okay to tell people in public about that shit. Nobody gives a fuck, period. Unless you're an extremely hot woman, then we all care. But most of the people that tell us about their fantasies are ugly, unattractive people. Okay? Simple as that. Yapping Tom says, as might have something to say here. Skywalker DFS says, former Home Depot lumber department myself, 1996. That's where I started. I started in the lumber department. Started in the lumber department. That's when I learned to drive the forklift, the reach truck, the order picker. And had a lot of fun doing it. And then I moved around to other departments. The one thing that sucks about working at Home Depot is if you have an apron on, the Home Depot apron, people think that you know everything about everything. I've got legitimate contractors coming into the store asking me about specifics on building a foundation of a home. At first, I was like, I don't fucking know. And eventually, I just started bullshitting my way through it. And like, well, if you pick up over here, if you get some of this quarter round right over here, and if you go over here and get this plywood gives you a better foundation. And they're like, oh, yeah, man, that sounds great. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But because I have a fucking apron on, you just immediately think me with my minimum wage pay. You think I'm an expert on this shit. And they'll listen. They'll be like, yeah, hey, that's a great plan. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I'm like, oh, yeah, no problem, man. Let me know if you need anything else. Meantime, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Marmillan says that the ease of finding other effed up people has become a way too easy is the reality. People were always completely messed up. This stuff isn't new. 100%. 100%. Imagine all the buildings Jeremy destroyed. It was funny. I talked about this before, but there is a house in Pensacola, Florida. This is back. My God, how long ago was this? This had to be in the maybe 2010, maybe around that time, maybe even before that. But I roofed that house. Me and my cousin, we put the entire roof on that house. And I've done roofing before when I was younger with my granddad and everything like that. But this was the first job that we had to do by ourselves, because there was this guy that like a business partner, my dad's, and he bought this house. And he basically remodeled the whole thing, and he was doing it on soup. Like, we were his Mexicans is essentially what we were. We were cheap labor. We were his Mexicans. And he's like, you guys, you've done roofing, right, Jeremy? I'm like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I'll give you guys like $300. You just re-roof this house. I'm like, fuck yeah, buy some comic books. Me and my cousin were like, what? How the fuck do we do this? That house has survived multiple hurricanes with no new roof. Now, I could sit here and tell you it's because I'm an expert, but I'm not. And I'm still not sure how the fuck that thing is still standing. And the roof has never needed to be replaced. I don't know how. It's the craziest shit ever. Robot Snoops says, shout out to the 199. Thank you. Sophie. What up, Sophie? Says, hail. Elections April 12th here. 35 candidates, mostly trash. Everything rigged. Streets are full of campaign billboards. We need, is it, how do you say that? ASAP. Pray for us. Well, I hope it all works out, Sophie. Thank you. Let us know. Let us know. Quentin Daniels is best of 7. Kobe, Shaq, Lakers, KD, Curry, Warriors. It's weird because the game has changed so much, so that KD, Curry, Warriors the game was so different. So I guess I would need to know, what are the rules? You know, like, are we like can't hand check anymore or anything like that? I'm going to take Kobe, Shaq, Lakers, because fuck the Warriors. But I think that there's a lot of details that have to be asked. Jimmy Ray says, do you ever think that your fingerprints, do you ever think that your fingerprints could be found on a murder weapon because you're the one who stalked the hammer? I mean, I guess I would have worried about that if it was sooner, but yeah, that's a good assessment right there. Home Depot and Lowe's employees, you might want to think twice when you're stocking the hammers at Home Depot. So there you have it. But I think that I'm way past what is it called when there's so many years has passed? So I think I'm safe and clear. But next time I go to Home Depot, because every time I go to Home Depot, I go over to the hardware section and I'm always checking out their hammers because you just want to see some cool hammers and think about, fighting zombies with them and shit. I'm going to think twice about that now. Statute of limitations. Yeah, that's it. So next time I go to Home Depot and I'm testing out their hammers, I'm going to put some gloves on. I'm like, I don't want anybody to pick this hammer up and do anything bad. And then it traces back to me. Ministry of One Thing says, Iran, U.S. now negotiating terms of Iran surrender. Yeah, we just talked about that. And we'll see what happens. Again, I think that everything we're hearing is for, there's a lot going on. So just because it's being said doesn't mean it's going to happen. Trump is playing mind games with everybody right now. All right. He's playing mind games with everyone. So just be patient and let things work itself out. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't have a time table, but we just know that Trump is working them over big time. But as I said, you do have the stock markets are responding. Price of oil is going down. So right here, let me play it one more time for people who are just tuning in. But right here, U.S. stocks are surging and oil prices are dropping off news that tensions could soon ease in the Iran war. So we'll see if that actually does, if anything does come from that. Now, one thing that's going on that's just a carryover. Again, people are stupid. All right. Finally, it got community noted, but we got another tweet right here. Leave Erica Kirk alone. She's grieving. Erica Kirk. And he posts this picture. Okay. Now, I did get community noted, thankfully. So what's interesting about this is that, so the people that are theorizing, the people that have investigated the assassination of Charlie Kirk and have determined that Tyler Robinson is not responsible, and they have all of these answers and they have figured all of this out. Okay. The people that have done that investigation are too dumb to do any research to find out that this picture was taken in 2016. So it goes back to, as I always say, common sense. Common sense. Whenever you have, you remember we brought up the Lakers and Kobe's Lakers. Remember when Kobe Bryant got accused of rape? Remember, the credibility of the accuser was called into question. Whenever you accuse someone of something and you have a laundry list of other accusations you have made that are similar, credibility matters. It just does. So when you have a group of people that can't do enough research on a picture to find out when the picture was taken, but I'm supposed to believe that this same group of people are smart enough to do all of the research, to find out all of the secrets, this government cover-up, this massive cover-up, but yet you can't do 2 seconds to find out that this picture was taken in 2016? I'm supposed to believe that group? Sorry, not going to happen. So yes, this group of people continues to be the most retarded group of people on the fucking internet. And they'll believe anything. They'll believe anything as long as it lines up with their narrative. And yeah, I know the bullet doesn't match, guys. Oh, I saw some retard right here talking about it. Let's see. Hang on. Where'd it go? Yep, there it is. The bullet doesn't match the rifle, Jeremy. Oh, man. Thank you, Daily Mail headline guy. Did you actually read the article? Did you actually look into what the article said? Or did you just read the headline? Again, people that can't do the slightest bit of fucking research. Holy shit, man. Like, all you got to do is read a little bit. All you got to do is get a little bit of context. It's not that difficult. But we're talking about people that post a picture of Erica Kirk and say, grieving widow. And then in the comments, there's plenty of people that are going, she sure doesn't look upset to me. It was 2016. She married Charlie in 2021. How stupid can you be? My God, man. We're dealing with the dumbest people on the internet. The absolute most retarded people on the internet, and it's not even debatable at this point in time. Now, somebody said I should react to Andrew Wilson versus Zach Costello. I'm not familiar with Zach Costello. I am familiar with Andrew Wilson. So here's the video that I was told about. This is from 5 days ago. So let's listen in. I don't know if we're going to listen to all of it, but I want to listen to I know Andrew Wilson is a very good, he's very good in debate formats.
Andrew Wilson here. Let's bring him onto the stage. Andrew, can you hear me? And are you there?
I can hear you fine.
Well, Andrew, we haven't met before, but welcome to the Zach Costello Show. I appreciate you coming on. I think that you heard somewhat of my kind of opening statement there, kind of highlighting how today came about. Give us, I guess you can say, a starting point. So you've maybe had a chance to look through some of my arguments. I've seen a couple of yours. I mentioned and noted the one on Joe Rogan when you guys were talking about Candace Owens. Give us kind of a starting point of where you are with
those weren't arguments. Those were me giving a mind state or my belief of X, right? I wasn't actually making any arguments there. So here's the problem with this topic. Anytime I try to talk to somebody who has any level of influence, who is regurgitating any of the nonsense, they can't actually tell me what they're alleging. Like, they can't ever tell me, like, here's what we're actually alleging.
Oh, that's very much on point right there. Well, some of them can. Ultimately, what they're alleging is that Israel is behind everything. And I know that Andrew knows this, but they're essentially just saying Israel's behind everything.
So inside of, if we're gonna make comparisons of theories, do you agree that some theories are superior to other theories, right? Even in science, this is true. There's a term that we use for this called theoretical virtues. Theoretical virtues are the things inside of a theory which makes the theory more or less, essentially good to use for the purpose of discovering or utilizing information or things like this, right? Now, that there's more to it than that, but I think for the purpose of the conversation, just kind of expressing that is good enough. So the first thing is, I actually want to know what's even being alleged. Like, what is actually even being alleged by your side? Do you even have claims, or is it just we just want to ask more questions? Like, what is the actual allegation here?
Great. This is a great.
Sure. So I think
it's a great question. And again, this is why I don't watch Andrew Wilson a lot, but I've seen a lot of his clips, and he's very, very well known for these kind of debate formats. He's really, really good at it, and he's good at kind of setting a trap for the person that he's, talking to.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm not exactly sure who my side would constitute. I think it would
be like you, Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, people who are in agreement with what are considered alternative facts, or they don't agree with government facts that are being released, or various things like this. That would be your side. So what are you guys alleging?
That Tyler Robinson was not the lone wolf shooter or assassin in the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Okay, now that's a huge claim, right? Do you agree with that?
I think it is a huge claim because that's what we're being told by the current mainstream narrative FBI.
So because that's a huge claim, I think that I have every business, since this is a claim going against all state investigatory evidence, which they've released, I have every business in the world holding your feet to the fire on that claim. And you would have the burden, the overwhelming burden, to release really good evidence for your claim. So if it is your claim,
well, they actually do though, Andrew. And I hate to call you out, Andrew. I hate to, man, because I typically like Andrew, but they like Andrew. I hate to do this to you, buddy, but Erica Kirk is celebrating right now. So it's pretty clear that Erica Kirk is celebrating because she's being paid, because she's behind this whole thing. I mean, again, I don't want to destroy your argument before it starts, Andrew, but you know,
Tyler Robinson was not the shooter of Charlie Kirk. Give me the demonstration of evidence which would be convincing to the alternative.
Sure. So, okay. So let's clarify some words here. So
I typically like Andrew Wilson, but that one, that one video of him trying to open up the, was that a pickle jar on the whatever podcast? And he couldn't do it. That was bad. That was bad.
When I say lone, I should clarify and say not necessarily lone shooter.
Olives.
I understand there are many people who are skeptical that Tyler Robinson did or did not take the shot that actually killed Charlie Kirk. The lone actor, I think, is probably where I align most questionable. I think that the evidence.
What is that? Wait, hang on. I'm sorry.
I don't think Tyler Robinson
let me back up.
This out. I don't think
did Tyler Robinson kill Charlie Kirk or not? Let's start with that. Did he kill him or not?
I don't know. I guess
okay, you don't know.
I don't know whether he did or not. I mean, there's a trial that needs to take place.
Okay, so do you see how we're getting into the
evidence?
Yeah,
you see how that's ambiguous?
Yeah, like you don't know what you're alleging. None of you guys have any idea. What you are essentially doing is you are doing what's getting you the most traction on social media. That's ultimately what this is all about. Okay? That's what this is all about. You're getting a lot of traction on social media to ask questions about this, but you truly don't have a core belief of any of this.
US though, like what are we actually claiming here? Because before it was he's not the lone wolf shooter. Now it's I'm not sure if he shot him or not. The state says that he shot him. Are you refuting that or not refuting that?
I'm skeptical of that.
What does that mean?
I don't think you can say. How can you say definitively that Tyler Robinson absolutely killed Charlie Kirk and is the shooter?
Well, when you say definitive, when you say, Andrew, can you definitively say that? I can't definitively say Superman's logically impossible. Like I can't definitively say that.
Okay,
but pragmatically, I can say pragmatically, right? Superman is impossible. When we're discussing this, I want to know specifics. If you're not claiming that Robinson was the sole actor, that's a different claim than Tyler Robinson didn't shoot Charlie Kirk. So let's be very specific. If you're claiming that Tyler Robinson did not shoot Charlie Kirk and the state is claiming that Robinson did shoot Charlie Kirk, what evidence would you be able to present which is better than the evidence of the state for that claim? Let's start there.
Okay, there's a few things that we can bring up as far as Tyler Robinson not acting alone as the lone wolf, shooter or actor in the Charlie Kirk assassination. So,
hang on. That's not what I'm asking though. The first thing I'm asking about,
that's what I'm claiming.
What is your evidence? Okay, so you're not actually claiming Tyler Robinson didn't shoot Charlie Kirk?
Again, it's innocent until proven guilty. I don't know if Tyler.
I don't understand. Oh, What I do understand is Packing Protons just dropped a proper 199. Now, Packing Protons. This is how you get chicks right here, okay? Because chicks are watching CobraCast and they see you dropping the proper 199. They're like, Packing Protons, packing some dollars. Just saying, this is how you get chicks right here. You're off to a good start, my friend, okay? You're off to a very good start. And that makes Sydney Sweeney happy. And we're always happy when Sydney Sweeney is happy. Okay? So there you have it. See there? Amanda Panda says, I can confirm. Look at there. Panties are flying off, says Raph. Let it be known that if you drop a big, look at this, okay? Case in point. Okay? If Andrew Wilson was here, he would go, well, Jeremy, you just said that if you drop a big money on the CobraCast stream, that chicks are watching. Do you have anything to base that off of? Yes, I do. Let me introduce you to Jessica, who married Alec Baldwin's finger. Boom. You're welcome. Bam. You see? I ain't making nothing up. Okay? I ain't making nothing up. Thank you, Packing Protons.
Tyler Robinson or not. What I believe.
Okay.
Why don't we just say that? Why don't we just say this? I believe that Tyler Robinson could have taken the shot. I'd like to see. There are definitely questions that I want to see in trial. That I think that I hope come out, like especially with regard to the video surveillance of him or whoever it was walking up the stairwell on the day of the assassination. We only have still pictures of that. I personally don't think that
So you're not claiming that he didn't do it.
I am not making the claim that I definitively believe that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk.
Okay, so you believe that it's very possible that Tyler Robinson did kill Charlie Kirk.
I believe it's possible. Yes.
No. Well, okay. Unlikely.
One of my main
is it
issues,
unlikely?
Though, is,
like what? You see what I mean by like I can't. It's always ambiguous. Like,
but it's not. It's
if
not
I'm trying to drive down on this. Is it your belief that it's more likely he did or more likely he didn't?
Andrew,
we can start there.
I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical
of your skepticism.
Yeah, based on what? You're skeptical based on what? Why are you skeptical? What has created that skepticism for you? What? Give me something that has led you to be skeptical of it. I'm not saying that you're wrong to be skeptical. I'm just trying to say what has led you to this skepticism. An Ian Carroll video? A Candace Owens video?
I'm skeptical of your skepticism. Great. That doesn't get us anywhere. I want to know specifically what the claim is. Is it more likely that he killed him or not?
Can you tell me if you believe Tyler Robinson definitively killed Charlie Kirk?
Right now, all of the evidence which has been presented shows that that's the stronger narrative. Yes.
Do you think that Tyler Robinson acted alone in the planning and coordination to kill Charlie Kirk?
According to the evidence presented so far by both sides, the state's making a much more compelling evidence that, yes, he did.
So you don't believe that George Zinn, who acted as a decoy in the immediate aftermath, was a part of that coordinated plan? You don't believe the Discord
hang on.
Beforehand had anything to do
I'm going to grant all of the shit that you just said. I'm just going to grant all of it. I want to see the evidence that he didn't shoot him.
You notice Andrew Wilson answers Zach's questions directly. Zach can't answer anything that Andrew asks him. Regardless if you like Andrew's answer or not is irrelevant. It's that Andrew answers the question.
What is it?
What did you say? Sorry.
What's the evidence that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk? What is it?
So the evidence that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
People would argue that
I'm asking for your argument, not people's.
Yeah. People would say the 30-06 not having an exit wound would be one of the main sources of evidence that Tyler Robinson did not take the shot with that specific weapon. But that's not a claim that necessarily.
I will say this. Not a lot. Like I tend to always I try to find the positive side of everything, regardless of how bleak it is. For me, not being the biggest Charlie Kirk supporter when he was alive, I just didn't really care about Charlie Kirk. I mean, whatever. You know, I knew of Charlie Kirk. I didn't watch him. I didn't really care about him. I didn't have a strong opinion one way or the other. But after he was assassinated and the fallout from that, and obviously we watched, you couldn't get away from seeing the clips of Charlie and the debates and the things that he said and the things that he was talking about. I find myself struggling, and I think we all kind of go through this when we're all laying in bed at night, and that's when your mind starts playing tricks on you, and you start overthinking everything. At least this happens to me. But, I'm like getting there. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to die soon. Everybody fucking does that. You know what I mean? So I sit there and I think about Charlie Kirk. The way that I've always believed and the way I view life is that Charlie Kirk is in heaven and he's smiling down upon us. But I have to ask myself, like, how can Charlie be in heaven smiling down on what's going on with his family right now and how his family is being treated by people that he was closely connected to? How could he be happy with this? His family is being just dragged all over the internet. It's like this dude lived a genuinely decent life. Not saying he was a perfect human being, because nobody's perfect, but he was a genuinely good dude who was a family man who, as a husband, as a father, you have one job on this planet: protect your family. That's it. That's your job. Simple as that. And so he is watching his family just get destroyed. And I struggle with that as to, like, how is that okay? How is that okay? How is it that this man who was a man of God was taken from his family and now can't protect his family? Just saying. That's me just spewing my feelings on this whole situation. It's very troubling to me. And why aren't his friends talking about him like this? Why aren't I was watching a Tim Pool video today. Tim Pool knew Charlie Kirk. Tim Pool talks about Charlie Kirk like he's a comic book character. Tim Pool was talking about it today, about the bullet going into his neck and the bullet being pulled out of his body. And I'm like, this is a person you knew, dude. Like, what the fuck? They're just talking about him like, yeah, it's just, I don't understand it, man. None of this shit makes sense to me. Like, if one of my friends, something, God forbid, happens to one of my friends, I'm not going to make content out of that consistently forever. Like, it's just not what I'm going to do. Too painful to talk about that shit, man.
I'm not going to hinge my entire opinion on that specific point. Is it unlikely?
Okay, great. Okay, hang on. Great.
Unless it's Ryan,
so
that's true.
You're saying you're not even sure about that. So what would be the compelling evidence that you would be using that would compel you past the state's evidence to say that the state would be incorrect about Tyler Robinson having pulled the trigger on Charlie Kirk? What specific things? What?
The specific things that would look, I believe, and I think that it's very likely that Tyler Robinson could have killed Charlie Kirk. I'm not necessarily making the argument that he did not. My main concern, but Andrew, my main concern is that this is bigger than just Tyler Robinson. That is my main concern. If Tyler Robinson did take the shot, and I say if he did, because it's innocent until proven guilty, then this is a kid who was radicalized very quickly within 6 months leading up to the assassination.
Yeah, that's very, very, very common with transgender shooters.
It came out immediately in the media by mainstream media figures that there were foreign links to potentially the SLC armed queers group that had chatter about the assassination prior to. To me, that's very solid evidence that has come out in.
You've given nothing of substance. Not one answer from this Zach person has had any substance. It's all, well, people have said, well, I believe that this is possible. Like nothing.
In mainstream media sources that this is bigger than just Tyler Robinson, and he was not just the lone actor in this assassination case. I align very much so with Joe Kent, who, obviously served.
Hang on. You were saying all of this before there was ever a Joe Kent saying anything.
No. I know, but ultimately Joe Kent has now come out and almost verified many of the concerns that I've had, especially with regard to this assassination.
Okay, what do you think that Joe Kent verified?
That there are potential links to this being bigger than just Tyler Robinson, that the lone wolf narrative is not true.
That's not what Joe Kent said.
He said that there are leads that could potentially lead to
potential, maybe, not sure.
That he thinks should be pursued.
Yeah, but that's not evidence of anything.
No, it's not.
Nothing.
You're right. It's not evident.
Joe Kent said just enough to get the people that he needed to support him. And that's exactly what's happened. He said just enough so that crowd will then be like, yeah, that's right. Joe Kent's one of us.
It's not evidence of anything. It's just, so Joe Kent's entire narrative is that the investigation was turned over to Utah. That was it. And Utah thought it was pretty open and shut. That was basically what he said. They thought it was open and shut. If the state thought it was open and shut, why? Because they had the weapon, they had the suspect, they had all the text, they had the fingerprint on the rifle, they had everything that you could ever want and then some. So they said, well, the case, it's like finding a person standing over the body with the knife and the blood and the fingerprints on the knife. And that's how the state sees it. So you can endlessly investigate something, I suppose, but why? What are we investigating here? What is it that you think should be investigated? You say there's foreign links, but Joe Kent never named what those foreign links are, right? He was told to stop wasting taxpayer resources by trying to pursue that because there was no reason to pursue that. Joe Kent also is a guy who he's only been with the Trump administration for less than a year, I believe, before all of this happened. Okay. He was, essentially the guy is a decorated war veteran. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And I understand him going with his conscience when it came to the Iran war. But he did not give you any new evidence to support any of your theories here. Nothing.
He didn't necessarily give any evidence, but what he encouraged was the idea that, again, that the concerns that many of us have are in fact legitimate. Well,
no, he didn't. That's a lie. Like, you're just lying. He didn't actually give any evidence which would show that your concerns are legitimate. That's
this right here is essentially the anti-Israel crowd's answer to every question. And you've all seen the movie, but this is essentially how they answer everything. Right here, American Psycho.
Maybe. Oh. Really?
That's it. Maybe. I don't know. Not really. You're like, what does that even mean? What does that mean?
Literally not true. I don't even know why you would say that. It is actually factually not true that Joe Kent gave any evidence
that he expressed his own
concerns. Let me make the point.
Okay.
It is not, in fact, the case that Joe Kent validated any concerns of yours or Candace's or Ian Carroll's with evidence of any kind whatsoever. So where's the validation that he just feels this way? That's the validation. I just feel that way. Is that the validation, dude?
No, he said in the interview with Mark Levin that there is evidence that he was not able to share because it was classified.
Oh, well, that's really convenient. But so no evidence then. Again.
Why? I guess.
So hang on, I just want to make sure I got this right. So you're saying no evidence, right? That's what you're actually saying?
No, I'm not saying.
Okay, so what's the
evidence?
evidence? What's the evidence that he
have
gave?
access to? I'm
So
saying
what's
there's no
the
evidence that we have access to.
Then you don't have evidence.
Well, okay, neither do you. You don't have any evidence that.
Yeah,
Tyler
well, no,
Robinson
I do.
killed Charlie Kirk.
I have the evidence that the state has released thus far.
Okay.
You have a counterclaim to the state.
So the anti-Israel crowd is essentially saying, I don't have any evidence. I don't have anything to prove anything I'm saying, but I don't have to. Yeah, you do. That's the point. You actually have to prove what you're saying. You actually have to have evidence to back up the claims of what you're making. Yes, that is exactly how this goes.
You have a burden of evidence now, too, to refute the state. You saying I don't have access to evidence that the state has access to is not an argument for your evidence. What you just got done saying is you don't have any evidence for your claim, and Joe Kent didn't give you any. Unless he did, and if he did, show it to me.
Are you concerned that...
Hang on, show me the evidence Joe Kent gave. Or did he give none? I want to make that clear.
Joe Kent spoke about evidence that he was referring to that was not made public.
Okay, so no evidence. Got it.
So are you not concerned at all about what Joe Kent has brought forward with regard to how the investigation was handled behind the scenes?
There was nothing he said which was particularly compelling from my position. So what all Joe Kent said was, and by the way, you're in this is party politics that you're diving into. Joe Kent was walking away from what he considered a moral situation with Trump and Iran. So because of that, he's doing a media tour. He's being asked about all sorts of other things. In this particular case, he did not leave the administration over what happened with Charlie Kirk, because it must not have affected him nearly as badly, at least from a moral foundational perspective, as the Iran thing did.
By the way, I just got a notification on my ESPN app. Holy shit, this is hilarious. Pioneering female NFL official sues the league over her treatment and firing. So in a new lawsuit, one of the first 3 women to officiate an NFL game describes her 3 years as the pinnacle of her profession as a descent into the grip of sexist institution, unable to treat a woman as equal. You get what you deserve, NFL. You get what you deserve. Holy shit. I hope she sues them for every fucking thing, because you get what you deserve. You decided to go virtue signal and bring a female official in for no reason other than to virtue signal. And now she's suing you for sexism. Fuck off, NFL. Anyway, we'll continue.
So he didn't seem like he was particularly upset about it. It seemed like he was just answering questions about it. Now, a lot of people are running with this as though he gave some sort of compelling evidence. You just got done saying, in fact, that your intuitions are now validated because of Joe Kent, when in fact, you just then admitted that you have no new evidence to present from Joe Kent. And so it's like, how are you
my
validated?
concerns align with Joe Kent's concerns. Ultimately, is I think the best way that I would say it.
Well, I'm glad
Charlie Kirk's name got brought up. Let me make a point?
Go ahead.
Charlie Kirk's name got brought up because Charlie Kirk and Joe Kent overlapped in the White House, and Charlie was adamantly telling him to not go to war with Iran. So that's the connection there of how that came up in the Tucker Carlson interview was.
I agree. I watched the interview. The thing is, though, is that you don't have any new evidence to validate any of these positions or intuitions. You just
right. So this is so what we're learning about the anti-Israel crowd. Not that this is breaking news, but they are essentially just because they are the same group that supported the Me Too 2.0 movement, this is who they are. They are part of the Me Too movement. They think that just making accusations is enough. They don't believe that evidence should be part of it. They don't believe in due process. They don't believe in it. They just think that if you make accusations, they don't have to actually give you any evidence whatsoever. That's who they are.
Just saying that you guys are all have concerns together is nice, right? I'm concerned, they're concerned, the guy over there is concerned. But this is the problem with all of your claims, is that they're very vague, they're very ambiguous. And when we get to hyper specifics, when you say things like this validates my position and then say, but gives no new evidence for my position, I don't understand how your position is then more validated by it.
Okay.
I don't actually understand that.
Can I go through, let me go through a couple points that I guess provide backing to my argument that this,
I mean, how do you, I don't know much about the Zach Costello guy, but like, how do you have Andrew Wilson on your show and not have better answers? How is that possible? Like, I mean, I don't watch Andrew Wilson a lot, but I know that if I'm going to have a conversation with Andrew Wilson, I'm going to need to have some fucking answers ready. How does he not have any answers ready? This is crazy.
could be bigger, that I think is likely bigger than just Tyler Robinson. Can I do that for you?
Sure.
Okay.
But do one piece at a time.
Okay. Let's start with the day of and the basics. So George Zinn, the man who acted as the decoy, who said that, who as
what does that mean?
He stood up and
no,
said,
hang on. What does that mean?
He was the shooter. He stood up in the immediate aftermath of Charlie being shot and said that he was the shooter. And when he was receiving medical attention, and I can find the source on this, he informed the individual that was treating him that he was paid to do so.
Okay.
So that is pretty solid evidence that.
No, it's not. So let's go through it first.
But you don't think that
well,
is evidence
hang on.
that
let's go first.
Tyler Robinson.
Let's go first and foremost with the word that you used to describe this: decoy.
Okay.
Give me your proof he was an actual decoy.
Exactly.
Well, he acted as a decoy.
Give me the proof of that. That's the claim restated.
He stood up and said that he took the shot, and he in fact did not.
Yeah, but a decoy would imply that there was coordination, and he was to act in this way.
Isn't this guy has, and again, I think that this is the problem with these people, is that they throw so many fucking crazy theories out there that when there is, I kind of compare the anti-Israel crowd to kind of like the Wii library of games. I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is Jeremy talking about? This is what happens when you run a gaming network and a nerd network and you talk politics. But if you remember the Nintendo Wii, okay? The Nintendo Wii, when you would go into a GameStop, there was about 4 good games for the Wii. But the entire fucking market was saturated with family-friendly garbage bullshit. And it was almost impossible to find Mario Galaxy, something awesome, because all you see is Wii Fit. Ooh, Wii Motion. Ooh, look at this family-friendly garbage bullshit. And at some point, you're like, I don't care. I don't even care anymore. If there are good games within this, I give up because there's so much bullshit. That's where the anti-Israel crowd is. Look, this guy that initially was, claiming he was part of it, that's a good conversation to have, and I'm interested in that. But you guys have added so much bullshit to this that I don't fucking care anymore. I don't care about any of it. Simple as that. The boxing was legit. Yes, it was. My boy, Drinky Crow, says, is there a video of Tyler Robinson taking the shot? So you have no evidence. This is the problem with it's real first crowd. Fed slop zombies. What? I understand the point you were making, but you kind of lost me in the second half there. So hail to you, Kevin, you mad lad. Jay Frazier for 10 says, hail to 199. Jeremy, did you show off the Razor Fist video I suggested a few streams ago on the manufactured MAGA schism? Sorry for asking. I'm catching up, and if it's all right, if you've decided against it. It's not that I decided against it. Honestly, I forgot completely about it. I'm actually glad you brought that up. I probably won't have time to get to it today unless we do a second stream tonight, but I'm glad that you reminded me of that one. So, mods, if you can send me that link to that video from Razor Fist, I would like to take a look at that. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Miniature Run Thing says, quote, when did you stop cheating on your wife is literally just questions. It's also quintessential example of people go to call out corrupt journalism because it's maliciously implying guilt. 100%.
Specifically. By the way, that would run.
Well, if you were to ask me what is evidence, what is there evidence that he was trying to cover up, I would be like, he stood up and said that he took the shot and he didn't. Like, you're asking me to provide evidence, and I'm literally telling you what this guy did, and then you're saying, well, that doesn't count because you're trying to. I feel like you're trying to get me on the word decoy.
Well, no, I'm trying to just establish facts so that there's no ambiguity and you can't equivocate. Equivocation is when you use a term loosely so that you can move between two separate meanings of it. So I'm going to establish what is a decoy first and foremost. What is it?
Someone who would, or someone or something that would distract others from what is truly going on.
Got it. And so that would imply coordination.
I mean, I guess naturally, but yeah, I mean, I guess you would say yes. So
then what you're actually saying is that there was coordination between Tyler Robinson and the decoy.
Okay, what is the name? What word would you prefer that I use then, if not decoy?
Well, in this particular case, I don't know why you're even using the word unless you're just implying that there's coordination between whoever these alleged assassins are and this gentleman. Is that the case or not?
Maybe we can use the word distraction.
Okay, but that would also imply that there's coordination. I mean, do you think he just was doing this for funsies? Like he was just like, yay, I did this. Or do you think that he was coordinating with other people to play his part? That's the question. I would just say,
given his behavior, it seems pretty obvious he was acting as a decoy or a distraction from what was actually going on.
Therefore, he was coordinating with whoever these other assassins are.
I kind of lost track on the specifics of what they were saying there, but this guy in particular, wasn't this guy involved in several other like viral moments over the years, which is kind of crazy? And again, that leads me to that's where you've got some substance right there. You've got some substance on that, but all the other shit that you add to this means you lose credibility. It's crazy, man. Drinky for 50 says, do you believe Lee Harvey Oswald took the shot? Just another Israel first. You believe Jack Rubenstein? I don't think that has anything to do with this. These two things are completely different. The problem is not that people are questioning whether Tyler Robinson took the shot. The problem is that the same people that are alleging that Tyler Robinson was not responsible are the same people that are making up the most ridiculous claims we have ever heard about all of this shit. And at some point in time, if you're just going to spew ridiculous bullshit, you're going to be mocked and shamed for that. If your one focus is, there's some questions around Tyler Robinson, and I want to ask some certain questions in respect to this, and I have this point and that point and that point, that's a good conversation to have. When your conversation is, I have some questions about Tyler Robinson, I also think that Charlie Kirk was controlling the entire GOP, and he had control of everything. And if he was still here, we wouldn't be doing any of this. But at the same time, I believe that Charlie Kirk was controlled by everyone around him, and he was being used by everyone around him. Wait a minute. So Charlie Kirk was in control of the GOP and controlling Trump. But at the same time, he was controlled by everyone around him because everyone around him was a snake. And then you're going to tell me that Charlie Kirk, the man that you love and respect and was so on point and was so smart, was actually just being used by his wife. So he was the smartest guy in the world, but yet he was being used by Erica the whole time. None of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. And then you're going to tell me Charlie Kirk, the guy that had all the funding in the world, by the way, all the funding in the world. And when I say all the funding in the world, I think you know who was funding him for the entirety of his career. Suddenly you find one comment where he kind of questioned something about Israel, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, he turned on the Jews. And that's what? Dude, if you think for one fucking second that Charlie Kirk was not being funded by the Jews, you're fucking retarded. I'm sorry. Holy shit. That motherfucker had a ton of funding. You don't run an organization like Turning Point USA and not have major funding. Major. Holy shit. All right, here we go.
Yes, I'm making that argument. Yes.
Yes. Okay, got it. So then there's some sort of coordination between whoever the conspirators are who killed Charlie Kirk and this gentleman. Is that correct?
I would make that argument. Yes.
Great. Show me the proof.
He acted as a decoy in the immediate aftermath and said
that's the restatement of the claim. I want proof of the claim that there was coordination between this gentleman and any other conspirators whatsoever. Anybody from TPUSA, anybody who's related to Tyler Robinson, anybody who you would consider part of said conspiracy. Where's your evidence of coordination between them and this gentleman?
So between George Zinn and Tyler Robinson?
Yeah. Or any of the alleged conspirators who you may name.
So what's interesting about the potential connection between Tyler Robinson and George Zinn is that it was found, I believe, that George Zinn was also convicted of, I believe, child pornography. So he was.
How is that a connection?
Because Tyler Robinson was a deep online furry looking at the same stuff.
Wait, hang on.
Andrew,
proof of coordination. No. Hang on. You're not walking away from that claim.
Okay.
You just got done telling me that your correlatory proof of coordination was that this gentleman was caught or in some way is related to CP, to online CP. What the fuck does that have to do with Tyler Robinson?
Because Tyler Robinson was also in deep online furry transgender chat rooms.
Hang on. Have you ever watched porn in your life?
I mean, it's been a very long time, but when I was younger,
he didn't want to answer that one. Okay, so this guy must be running. This guy must be one of the whole like, I'm a Christian conservative, and he did not want to answer that question. He was very, very caught off guard. I mean, no. I mean, there might have been one time back in college,
furry transgender chat rooms.
Hang on. Have you ever watched porn in your life?
I mean, it's been a very long time, but when I was younger and I wasn't the best version of myself.
Sure.
God, the virtue signal.
Me too. We must be coordinating.
Oh!
Okay.
Breaking news! Zach Costello and Andrew Wilson coordinating. Dude, Wilson just set him up and destroyed him on that. Holy shit. Why would you argue? Why would you debate with Andrew Wilson? He's just better than you.
Okay. You and I have never been together at an assassination where I was acting as a decoy to distract.
You keep on making the claim. You keep on making the claim that there's a decoy there, right? Which implies coordination, but you can't show any evidence or proofs whatsoever that there was any coordination between this gentleman and fucking anybody who you consider to be a conspirator. And the only evidence that you could come up with is, one did an activity which was unrelated to the other activity, but somewhat related to the other activity. Therefore, they're linked. That is not evidence of anything. That is not even. Hang on.
There is actually, though, to be fair to Zach, there are rumors. Now, again, I'm just asking questions here. But these two men in question that were linked to the assassination day, they also reportedly both drank water. Just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, Mad Frog, you said it. You said it right after I said it, Mad Frog. Hey, It must be true.
That is not even logical, sir. Not even logical.
You don't think that him saying he was paid to do so, paid to be a decoy, is not evidence?
He suffers from extreme mental illness, like many leftists do, who go out.
Well, so, I mean, Andrew Wilson's dismissing it a lot. Listen, take all the bullshit out of this. I think that there's like, seriously, why was this guy there and why was he acting like this? Why in the middle of chaos was that his default reaction? That is a very interesting situation to, investigate and find out what was going on there. Absolutely.
Including in the Unfuck America campaign, which rigorously followed around Charlie Kirk's TPUSA for the purpose of clout. They attract the most mentally ill people that you could imagine. Okay? These people are fucking crazy. How do I know? Because I've debated with them. I've engaged with them. I know exactly what they are. This guy has significant mental illness. And by the way, early on, they thought there was a possibility that it could have been him due to those admissions until they began the investigation process, which is what you're supposed to do. They found the actual shooter. There is no evidence whatsoever that this guy, well, A, shot Kirk, B, coordinated with anybody, and C, is anything less than a left-wing lunatic. No evidence of that at all. And the best that you can come up with is that, well, he looked at GP online, which is fucking gross and disgusting, but reaffirms the fact that he's mentally ill, right? Where's the coordination with the conspirators?
You asked me to elaborate more on what the potential connection between the two of them are.
That's not a potential connection.
And the deep online sexual chats is not something that I just made up. I think
that's not a connection.
Okay.
Dude, like, do you understand? Like, we saw that map that Tim Tebow released in the last 30 days of how much CP is just in the United States of America. And it is alarming. It is an alarming amount. We've shown that map. I'm sure most of you have remember when I covered that. This is not like some small isolated thing. This is a massive problem in not only our country, but throughout the world, but specifically in our country. There's way too many people that are involved in that shit.
Okay, Andrew, fine.
That's crazy. How's that logical?
Leave the CP aspect out of it. I'll grant you that.
Okay.
The better evidence is him actually doing what he did right after the shot rang out and then saying that he was paid to do so. That, to me, is pretty solid evidence that he was acting as a decoy.
Do you know how many people make admittances to high-profile crimes that they never committed?
Okay, so your argument is that you don't believe that George Zinn was a decoy because
there's no evidence. There's no evidence that he was.
Because
that's why.
Well, other than him actually being the decoy, you're saying there's no evidence that
you keep on. You just because you make the claim he is this thing. You have a burden to demonstrate he was this thing. When we establish what a decoy is, we've established that decoy means that you act in a coordinated fashion as some sort of distraction. Otherwise, you couldn't act as a distraction unless it was coordinated. You wouldn't be a decoy then. You'd just be some guy. So if that's the case, and you keep making the claim that he's a decoy, then what you would need to do is show evidence which would give me the relationship between him and whoever you think are the involved conspirators, and you don't have any. Nothing. Okay. You have nothing. So you keep calling him a decoy, and that's the use of ambiguous language. And the reason I clarified it early on was because you grant yourself that he was, even though the implication is that there's coordination, and you can't demonstrate the coordination.
I think that we can. And I think that can move us to our next point.
Okay.
So I think it was the week after or so on the Charlie Kirk show, J.D. Vance and Stephen Miller spoke about the radical left-wing groups or NGOs that were talking about or coordinating violence against conservatives. Do you remember what I'm talking about here?
Of course. Radical left-wing groups and NGOs have been utilizing things like Signal and other things like this. Much of this has come out from people on the ground at the various riots across the country. I followed those very closely, along with the people here at the Crucible. The tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of viewers that I have followed those riots very closely. There's no doubt that NGOs play a massive part in that. 100% accurate.
The Armed Queers SLC group. Are you familiar with them at all?
Not that particular group, no.
That was the group who that is where the
Drinky for 50 says, was the rifle planted? The dogs did a sweep and then the FBI found it. Was the rifle fired? People are asking questions to see who is lying. Was this Israel or Iran or Mafia or George Soros or CIA? It was Erica Kirk, apparently, according to Candace Owens. So, again, people are not asking questions. People are doing what gets them clicks online. That's the difference. People don't actually care. They don't give a shit. I saw someone making fun of Charlie Kirk's kids yesterday. I think I have it bookmarked. Okay? Let me find it. No, they're not asking questions. They are doing everything they can to make as much money as fucking possible, all while telling you that everyone else is making money. Right here. Hang on. Let me find it. Right here. Charlie Kirk was a piece of effing trash. I'm grateful every day that he is no longer doing podcasts. There you have it right there. Just asking questions, guys. We just care about Charlie. They just care so much. Yeah. That's who's just asking questions right there. Yep.
The chatter came from prior to the Charlie Kirk assassination. This is the group that, and this is based on, I believe the FBI put this out. I believe this is part of the mainstream narrative. This is what Stephen Miller and JD Vance, I believe, were talking about that day. I can go back and check that. But this Armed Queers SLC group, this
point of personal privilege is Dan Bongino has been saying the same thing, but he's calling them grifters, which would include you too, Jeremy. Well, yeah, that's me. That's fine. I mean, the only thing that I would only worry if Dan Bongino was talking in a very different voice. So was Dan Bongino talking like, "Hey guys, I'm tired of this shit and I'm fired up and I'm gonna yell in front of my microphone. I'm gonna tell all of it." But as soon as Dan Bongino was in a position of power, he was like, he killed himself. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, he killed himself. It's all good. We're not talking about it anymore. Yeah, whatever, Bongino.
This is the group that was chatting amongst themselves about something happening to Charlie Kirk on September 10th. There was chatter about foreknowledge of the assassination. And this is a group that the link between the Armed Queers SLC group and
yeah, I have it in front of me.
I have it. Hang on, I have it. There's a link between them and Lance Twiggs, who was them who then connected to Tyler.
Yeah, I have it in front of me. I have the evidence for this in front of me. So the federal investigators are probing whether or not it is the case. There fears Robinson could have been radicalized Robinson could have been radicalized by this group.
Yes,
that's what the actual claim is, and that claim's being investigated. Yeah.
Yes, but that's
then what's the problem here? What's the issue? I don't understand what's the problem then.
I guess there's no issue. I mean,
there's no. So then, what is this evidence of?
This just goes back to my initial argument. It just goes back to my initial argument of this being bigger than just Tyler Robinson and the fact that he was influenced by.
Well, no, it looks like it's pointing at Tyler Robinson. So it looks like what the probe is about is that this particular group may have radicalized Robinson. Not that they directly coordinated with Robinson to assassinate Kirk. That is not what the claim is. Can you demonstrate that that's what the claim is?
That this group influenced Tyler
Not
Robinson.
That they influenced him, that they coordinated with him.
See, this is okay. So as far as the coordination goes, again, we've already talked about and addressed George Zinn. We've already, I think, come to
Has Andrew Wilson ever talked to Ian Carroll, or would Ian Carroll not want to talk to Andrew Wilson? I'm actually curious about that. Like, because Andrew Wilson likes to talk to everybody. So has there ever been like an Ian Carroll, Andrew Wilson discussion? Because I think that would be fantastic. I'd watch that. I'd watch that. Ian Carroll get destroyed. Oh, I know he would. I know he would. Kevin Hunts for 50 says, look up the first time FBI was successfully sued. It was Tyler was a patsy. If Tyler was a patsy, then that real killers are on the loose. Do you believe Ben Foster deleted himself with 2 shots to the back of the head? 3 experts said the note he left was forged. I don't believe Candace Owens and Ian Carroll. I don't believe it. We're here now. We are 50 minutes into this video. I started about 23 minutes. So we're 30 minutes into this response. This Zach guy has given zero evidence to support anything that he has said he believes. None. Ian and Andrew have debated each other. Have they? I'd like to watch. That's the whole point. You're bringing in all this other stuff. We're talking specifically about this. That's it. Specifically about this. That's all we're talking about.
agree to disagree moment with regard to that.
No, we didn't come to an agree to disagree moment. We came to a moment where you had no evidence for your claim again.
Well, again, I think the evidence is that George Zinn saying that he was paid to do so is evidence, but you obviously disagree with that.
Well, wait a second. No. I wouldn't disagree that you can say that this is evidence, right? He said this. I'm not disputing that he said this. What you would need to demonstrate is that it was true. That's what the demonstration would be for evidence, right? It wouldn't be.
Killer Mike Jesus, but Jeremy, have you or Andrew ever considered it might be Israel the whole time? I was considering that, honestly. Like, I was sitting here, I was typing on my phone, I was watching Owen Benjamin videos, I was watching Ian Carroll videos, and all of a sudden, I saw my bank account. Cha-ching. And suddenly, I wasn't worried about it anymore. I was like, oh, I don't need to be asking these questions anymore. I just need to go full defense. So, yeah, so I was questioning it. I was. But, and then, boom, hit the bank account. I was like, oh, dang, okay. Yeah, no more questioning that.
He like, oh, we're disputing whether or not he said that. No, neither of us are disputing that he said that. I'm disputing whether or not you have evidence that he actually did that. You can say anything you want when you're a crazy left-wing lunatic. People admit to crimes they didn't do all the time, especially for high-profile people, so that they can take credit for, especially when they're mentally ill. The left is no exception to this. In fact, they're far more likely to do it than anybody else. What's the evidence he actually did? That's what's in question. What's the evidence he actually did do that? And that's where you come up short.
Okay. I mean, again, him being paid to do so, you are arguing that George Zinn is a crazy person who had nothing to do with Tyler Robinson. He was basically an opportunist.
Give me the evidence to the contrary. Other than, oh, he said that. Okay, great. What's the evidence that he did that, though?
What evidence do you have that George Zinn is a crazy person who
because you just got done telling me that he looked at deep, dark web porn.
Yeah.
Right. And was heavily involved in that. And CP, that is a person who's mentally ill, sir. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I think two things can be true at once.
He is mentally ill. Do we agree that he's mentally ill?
Is looking at pornography a mental illness?
It is if it's CP, yes.
100%.
I guess, I mean, I can.
The fact that you question that, yes. It's not even just mental illness. You're a fucking criminal. You don't belong in society. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Can be true at once.
He is mentally ill. Do we agree that he's mentally ill?
Is looking at pornography a mental illness?
It is if it's CP, yes.
I guess. I mean, I can.
In fact, a classical definition is that that is mentally ill.
Whoa,
Yes. Very classical
buddy.
definition. Can we agree then that he's mentally ill?
So your argument then is that he is a mentally ill
Shout out to the Keno Casino. Whoa, buddy.
person whose word should not be taken seriously.
No.
Given the fact that he said he was paid. Do you think that
Nope.
a mentally ill person,
Let me
do
be
you-
very
do you
clear.
think that a
What I'm
mentally ill
saying
person
is
would
that
know whether or not they have been paid to be a decoy in a certain circumstance or not? Because it's a pretty basic. It's
what?
a pretty basic.
Wait,
thing
say that
explain.
again. Wait, say that again.
Do you think a mentally ill person is capable of knowing whether or not they were paid to perform a certain task or not?
Yes, of course
In
they
this
can be.
specific-
Yes,
in
of
this
course.
Specific instance.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So you can't just say he's mentally ill, therefore everything that he says or everything that he interprets.
But I
is
didn't
false.
say that. You are straw manning the claim. Can you steel man what my claim actually is so that you're not being bad faith? I want to make sure and then I'll steel man yours. Steel man my actual claim here.
That George Zinn is, because he was looking at CP, he's mentally ill, and you are arguing that because he's mentally ill, and you are using examples of circumstances in assassination cases where people do take credit for them right off the bat, that we cannot necessarily take George Zinn at his word when he is receiving care, saying that.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, the whole point is like, if this guy was someone that was involved in the integral planning of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and he was involved and he was a decoy, why would they use that guy as a decoy? That doesn't make any sense. This is crazy talk. Holy crap, dude. The guy was involved in the literal worst thing you can be involved in. Why would anyone use that guy as a decoy? Why would anyone be involved with that? That's crazy. Marmillan says, in Mickey Ventura's voice, Zach is just asking questions, tough guy. And then BMCCB says, just realize Ian Carroll is not E. Jean Carroll tax. Marmillan says, check Zach's laptop and hard drive ASAP. Miniature Phone Think got that one. Schrodinger's chat says, the problem today is the effed up people want to normalize being effed up, and you have to accept it or else. Very true. Gwen says, what's your September 11th story? I mean, I just remember waking up that day right before work and watching it and being late for work because of it. And I worked in a grocery store at the time. So, but yeah, I can go into more detail later. Jeremy Wormy says, that's right. The internet brings a bunch of screwed up people together. By the way, shout out to the 199 and G&G. Alex Arrowcave says, Dad just bought a Ford cripple van, Meta PC 199. Hell yeah. Miniature Von Thing says, you don't need evidence for I don't know. That's their game. Point of personal privilege. We'll still get Miki with this Tuesday night's main event, Jeremy. Yes, we are still getting that one. Samwise says, we know you didn't like Charlie since you're Mossad. That's right. Miniature Von Thing says, almost verified tax. 8 o'clock says, hate to break it to this guy, but the last thing I want to do is talk to a guy when I'm on those sites. Heavy D says, Kristi Noem was trying to put down a dog and missed.
He was paid to do so.
No, you left out the most critical and key part. A, yes, he's mentally ill. We've established that as being fact. B, it is the case that people take credit for high-profile assassinations all the time or high-profile murders that they had nothing to do.
Okay, so we know this is absolute bullshit here. You know this guy's a single issue voter if he says this. Jeremy's a much better gamer than political commentator. Okay, the fact that you are in any way, shape, or form giving my gaming skills a compliment to discredit from my political commentary just shows how retarded you are, because holy fuck, that's a terrible take. That's just say I'm a terrible political commentator. Don't say I'm a better gamer, because that is an inaccurate statement right there. Holy fuck.
With that's B. But C is the most important part. Where's your evidence that he actually was paid by anybody or coordinated with anybody to do anything to Charlie Kirk? That's the key part. The key part is my claim is that this guy's mentally ill. The state says he had nothing to do with the shooting. The state claims that he's also mentally ill. What is your evidence when the state said,
wait a minute, I recognize your profile picture. Hang on. Where's your fucking profile picture? Where'd he fucking go? Where did that fucking guy go? Comment again, dude. You were on Twitter whining about me. Hang on. You were on Twitter whining about me. Hang on. Let me go to my mentions. I'm pretty sure he was on Twitter whining about me. I got to go through my mentions here. This is going to take a minute. He was upset about, I didn't read the specifics, but I recognize that profile picture. We're going to play the video I'm looking for.
As he had nothing to do with actually assassinating Kirk. What is your evidence he did? What is it?
He said that he was paid to do so.
That's, oh God, dude. It's so bad.
Why
This
is that
is
bad?
so
I don't
bad,
understand
so
why that's bad.
He
Performed the act.
Oh my
He
God.
performed the act and then said that he was paid. What evidence? What evidence?
Because when the state looked in,
the financial transaction.
Yeah, when the state looked into it, they couldn't find any links between this guy and the shooter. They couldn't find any links. They couldn't find any links between this guy and anybody. And you can clearly see him in the audience not doing that, right? Nobody's claiming that he even pulled the trigger. Nothing. Nobody's claiming that. So you would have to show some evidence of coordination, some evidence he actually did the thing that you're claiming that he did. All you have is a quote from a mentally ill fucking lunatic. That's the entirety of the basis for your evidence. Yep. Do you realize how rational people see that?
Oh, I think rational people just see the behavior of this individual and how he acted and the claim that he made, and obviously suspect something suspicious with regard to how things played out that day. I think that's a pretty common sense way to look at it.
No, it's the listen, when you go through something, especially when you're talking about evidence or criminality, right? I hope to God I would never be tried and have you on the jury, because I would want you to look at whatever I was accused of and give really good substantiating evidence, which was very convincing to a person, right? And especially if you were in my defense, but if you're prosecuting me, that would be even worse, because you would just take things.
I found it. Don't tell me I don't notice shit. Okay, so this is him right here. Okay, this guy said I'm a better gamer than political commentator. Okay, he then was here on Twitter crying about me. Jeremy, you crying about Rogan saying MAGA has dorks is amazing. You've been crashing out the last few months, now having to simp for Trump. You need to change your tampon for you being extra sensitive to any criticism. I get it. If I had to justify all of Trump's lies, I'd get defensive too. I remembered this shit. This motherfucker's crying about me on YouTube and Twitter. Holy shit. There we go.
Which had no real evidence for them at all. And then say, well, this query needs to be pushed against Wilson harder or something, he must be involved in some different way. Your evidence here is so flimsy. All you're doing is taking a quote from a man who both of us have agreed is mentally ill. Both of us have agreed that many such accusations happen inside of high-profile assassinations or murders all the time. And then C, the most important aspect here is that you have zero evidence of him being A, decoy, B, him being in any way, shape, or form coordinating with anybody, or any proof of any payment whatsoever. You literally have nothing but an assertion. Nothing.
So we are, I'm not going to keep, this video goes on for another hour and a half, but right now we just got through 40 minutes of that. 40 minutes. And what we can conclude from this is that Zach Costello has absolutely no evidence to back up any of the claims he is making. He has no actual foundation of anything that he believes other than, I just don't believe the official narrative. Well, that's fine. You don't have to believe the official narrative. I think it's perfectly understandable. I think everyone should question the official narrative, but you're actively making up counterclaims that are bringing other people into it, and none of those claims have any substance to back up anything that you are saying. That's the fucking problem with this crowd of people. It's that they don't actually take any responsibility. They say like, well, you're just upset because I'm questioning. No, you should question everything. You should question everything. But you shouldn't be making up theories about people based on absolutely nothing, which is what these clowns are constantly doing. They're constantly making up theories that this person's involved and that person's involved. What? Based on what? Where is this information coming from? And they can't tell you. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But hey, that was fun. Let's see here. So I am we're going to be talking about this on Main Event tonight, but the Super Mario Galaxy movie has just debuted at 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. As I said, same as the first movie, it's made for fans, not retard critics. So we'll see what happens, but I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good sign that the critics don't like it, because they didn't like the first one either. The first one's okay. It's a solid movie. Didn't think it's the greatest thing ever. But yeah, they didn't like the first movie either. So we'll see how it goes with that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Debased Wizards is Jeremy. I don't know if you saw the video. Skyrim was made in modern gaming industry. Check it out tonight. It won't disappoint. I think you sent me that. Somebody sent me that on Twitter, I think. Again, Packy Protons for the proper 199. Let's freaking go. Thank you. SBZ says, tell me the evidence of connection between those two. Miki Ventura. Why don't you tell me the evidence of connection between those two? Grabdar's Hammer says, when the anti-Mossad agents come for you, would you ever consider a decked out mobile streaming van or RV? Yes, absolutely. That sounds fun. That's what Tim Pool always says he was going to do, right? Minister Von thinks says their entire suspicions of Erica started because she showed peculiar and irrational emotions after an extremely emotional situation. What? A woman showing irrational emotions? Never. I know, right? God, it's just, the whole thing is just a mess at this point in time, man. But it's fun. It's fun to watch everybody lose it. And they get really upset when you just simply do the very thing they claim they're doing. So the whole premise of the anti-Israel crowd is, I'm just asking questions. And then you just respond to their questions with more questions, and they get offended by you just asking questions. You're like, okay, well, let me ask you this. They go, well, why are you asking me that? Well, I'm just asking questions. They're like, oh, so you just believe the official narrative. You're like, no, I never said that. I'm just asking questions. The thing that you claim that you're just doing, I'm just doing that as well about you. And they get really upset when you just start asking questions. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how that works. Let me see. Dude, the Kristi Noem's husband thing is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Last thing to talk about, because we do have Main Event coming up tonight. And then I might do another CobraCast tonight. We'll see. But Alex Jones put this up, says, sadly, the Trump we all knew and loved no longer exists. Alex Jones, in a heartfelt message, talks about the way forward now that it's extremely clear that President Trump has a serious cognitive problem or has seriously been compromised.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too well.
He's always babbled. Alex, what are you talking about? Alex, you're definitely in your White Sox years. Again, credit to the person that said that the other day.
And so we just cut bait on Trump and we just mobilize against the Democrats. And we mobilize against neocons. We primary them and we just fight even harder because look at how we've turned the tide. Look at all the good we've done. There's a fourth turning. Populists, nationalists, conservatives are winning everywhere.
I want to be clear. I love and respect Alex Jones. He's Michael Jordan. All right. But Michael Jordan had the White Sox years. And then he came back and he won 3 more championships. But then he had the Wizards years. Now, I initially said that Alex Jones is in his Wizards years. Someone corrected me in the chat and said, no, he's actually striking out for the White Sox right now. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a perfect example. Doesn't change the greatness of Alex Jones because he will always be a legend. But this is crazy talk.
Christian reawakening, and Trump is just a minor figure in all of that now. And we have to be appreciative of the old Trump that went through so much and got so much done. And that's the Trump we remember. And we're just sad because that happens. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good. But he's gone. And that's it. And all the people rallied around him, you can see Hegseth's freaked out. You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal.
Is he crying?
They think it's the lesser of two evils.
Alex
And
crying?
Okay, but I just, Trump needs intervention. He needs to take some time off.
Alex, you were literally drunk on Timcast 2 weeks ago talking about Joe Rogan's pussy. You were literally drunk on Timcast and you talked about Joe Rogan's pussy.
Pray for Trump, the Holy Spirit touch his heart and loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious. And I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump. We need to
What up, Danky?
Pray for other people to be awakened. We need to pray for justice and peace because we're in so much danger. 6 months ago, 33%. He was up at 56 6 months ago. The most popular he's ever been. In independents that 80% voted for him, he's lost 80%. In men under 45, he's lost half of them. Trump is in free fall, and that means we're in free fall in the midterms. Unless Republican candidates say, we are real America firsters, we like Trump in the past, we're sorry he's obviously had an aneurysm or something or a stroke, but we're not Trump, we're going to stop the Democrats and their plan for defunding the police and open borders and transgenderism and pedophilia and men and women's sports and giant tax increases and gun confiscations. We just say, we're the original populist Tea Party Republicans that got Trump in. Just because he's been betraying us, we're not. We need to get more good members of Congress. We need to electioneer even harder. Even harder. That is the clear way out of this. We have to say, too bad Trump ran off the edge of a cliff. I don't think he's coming back from it. But triage him, isolate him, and explain,
what?
We're not him, and we're not the Democrats 10 times worse. We're not the Democrats 10 times worse, and we're not him, and we're...
This is fucking insane. What are you talking about, Alex? What the hell are you talking about? I think Alex is so wrapped up in the internet, bro. And again, this is something that is, it's not as, it's easy to happen. But I want you to seriously think about this, okay? Eliminate the internet for a minute. When's the last time you went out in public and someone just came up to you and said, we got to find out about those Epstein files? Doesn't happen. It's a very internet thing. It's very, very internet focused thing. Nobody talks about this shit in the real world. It doesn't happen.
morally against this and blowing up Iranian water supplies he's talking about, war crime any way you cut it. Put pressure on him not to do that. And just continue on the moral, proper way to behave. Not stick our finger in the wind and see which way it's blowing. But also not become frothing and wild-eyed attacking Trump and getting Trump derangement syndrome and joining the left and letting them then use that.
Alex, you just said he had an aneurysm. You just said that his ankles are swelling and he's going to have a heart attack. This is literally worse than what the left does to Trump. At least they make Trump sound cool when they call him racist and sexist. You're actually saying next level fucked up shit.
To destroy our populist base. That is the way through this. I've prayed about it. I've thought about it. I've worked on it. We've got to create some basic factoids and charts of this, and people like to see it contemporaneously so they can absorb that. But we need to get on this now. Get on the messaging. Get the truth out there. Because our populists take back America, take back the world from the technocrat, mad scientist, death cult, George Soros, Bill Gates, Larry Fink.
Tay says delete his number, Jeremy. Again, man, I like how Alex is talking about Trump's cognitive decline. And I've like, Alex has my phone number and we've texted, and yet I don't think he knows who I am. He also comes on to Friday Night Tights and asks for Salty Cracker, but that was actually the quartering is who he was asking for. But then I brought Salty Cracker on, and then he looked very confused about it. The Salty Cracker was.
Klaus Schwab system is in free fall because people are focusing on Trump going sideways instead of all the horrible stuff they're doing and have done, and they're reconstituting right now.
Joins Friday Night Tights. Hey guys, I love your channel. I love all your shows. Yeah, I tune into Comics Division every Thursday. I love the Thursday Night Throwdowns. Great show. I really appreciate you guys. I love watching your gaming streams as it's really good. It's so Jeremy, your Fortnite streams are great. I love them. I watch them all the time.
Just remember, he'll be gone in 2.5 years. When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot.
He's always done that.
And so we just cut bait on Trump.
What?
And we just mobilize against the Democrats. And we mobilize against neocons. We primary them. And we just fight even harder because look at how we've turned the tide. Look at all the good we've done. There's a fourth turning. Populists, nationalists, conservatives are winning everywhere. There's a Christian reawakening. And Trump is just a minor figure in all of that now.
No, the fuck he's not. Everything that's happening is because of Donald Trump. That is such an insane statement to make. Holy shit. He's literally the most important figure in American politics by a fucking mile.
And we have to be appreciative of the old Trump that went through so much and got so much done. And that's the Trump we remember. And we're just sad because that happens. Listen, my dad's dad was all there when he died. I was there when he died. But my mother's dad, who was the smartest person I probably ever knew, he was not there the last year. And seeing him with dementia and seeing him and all the stuff, one of the few things I'm ashamed of, because I went over there every week since I lived in Austin. They were here in Austin first. I moved down here from Dallas in high school. And by the time he went to the nursing home and the stuff, it was so painful to go see him. I went and saw him like once a month. He'd cry and beg me not to leave and beg me to take him with him. I should have done it, even though it was a big burden. But it was like he fell all over the place. He was out of his mind half the time. He couldn't hold it down.
Correct, Chloe. Trump has gotten more done this term than in the first 4 years of the first term. It really has. I mean, the framing of the midterms is one thing that bothers me so much because they keep framing the midterms without the context of the truth about the midterms. The truth about the midterms is, with the exception of 2 times, one being post 9/11 George W. Bush, and the other was a long time ago, there's only been 2 times that the sitting president the party has won the midterms. So, I don't know why they don't frame this properly. They never frame it properly. They pretend that midterms are lost because of Trump's actions. Like, no, historically, the party in power loses the fucking midterms. In order to win the midterms, history has taught us that you need something monumental to happen. There needs to be something that gets the American people completely, pumped up and charged up. There has to be some type of swelling that gets people, really enthusiastic, really patriotic, really exciting. That's what history has taught us. Now, could that be happening? That's what I believe is going to happen. That's what I believe the plan is. But in order to get there, you got to go through hell. That's the old saying. All right? Like, you've got to go through hell to get there.
Food, his throat was paralyzed from a stroke and heart attack. And I remember he begged and cried the last time I walked out of that room, and he was dead a week later. I have nightmares about it, but the man I knew was the man before that was my father, my grandfather. That's the man. That's the man. Not the man he was that last year. And that we need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good.
What are you doing, Alex?
But he's gone.
What are you doing?
And that's
Alex?
it.
What are you doing, Alex? What the fuck is happening? What is this, Alex?
Not the man he was that last year. And that we need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good.
Yes, it is funny.
But he's gone. And that's it. And all the people rallied around him. You can see Hegseth's freaked out. You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal. They think it's the lesser of two evils. And okay, but I just, Trump needs an intervention. He needs to take some time off. We need to pray for Trump, that the Holy Spirit touch his heart and loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious. And I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump. We need to pray for other people to be awakened. We need to pray for justice and peace because we're in so much danger. So basically, I'm saying my grandfather was dead a year before he physically died. The brain was gone.
JMNZZ450 says Alex is the GOAT. Yes, he is. But sometimes the GOAT wanders up the side of the cliff, screams like a lunatic, then jumps off. Yeah, you are correct about that. I will never discredit what Alex Jones has done. Never.
Dignified, smart, tough, super ahead of the curve, a futurist, a veteran, a prospector, a wildcatter. He done it all. And he was dead a year before he physically died. And I think Trump's starting to enter that territory right now. And that's the analogy I've got for you. And that's what I really think. And the left will take 5-second clips out of that and have it out of context. That's fine. That's what liars do. We know you're a bunch of lying scum. You're going to do what you do. But people that know the truth know the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, this broadcast...
Good old Alex. Yeah, I mean... So like we just got this breaking. President Trump confirms that once the U.S. leaves Iran, the Strait of Hormuz will automatically reopen. Trump, my attitude is I've obliterated the country. Let the countries using the strait, let them go and open it. We've done our part.
President Trump says once the U.S. leaves, it will automatically open, telling the New York Post, my attitude is I've obliterated the country. They have no strength left, and let the countries that are using the strait, let them go and open it. In other words, we've done our part, now do yours. Sounds familiar, like his proposition to the UK and others this morning. President Trump.
There you have it. And by the way, correct. By the way, Moist Critical is never going to see this. Holy shit. That is such a good point. Remember that? With Moist Critical said Alex Jones is constantly running interference for the Trump administration and he'll never He will never criticize the Trump administration. Holy shit. When's that video from? That was that Epstein video, right? That is hilarious. Thank you. You got to clip that part in where he says that. I'm looking for it now. I don't remember how long ago this was. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
With no clarification of how either was mentioned in the files is absurd thing here. They combined the actual, real, evil child sex trafficking clients with just random people's names who appeared in emails like Janis Joplin. This is ridiculous, and it's just blatantly corrupt right in your face. There is no new files here, as if it's real. Lie. Yet for some reason, it's being peddled by tons of people as if it's real. I guess they all got the call, so Alex Jones here preaching about how Pam Bondi just unleashed the full Epstein files. She dropped her trousers and took a shit on this whole narrative that the Epstein files implicate anyone in this administration. In fact, it backfired bigly on the left, on powerful Dims like Bill Clinton. And others busted while fake smears against Trump are bullshit. Vindication for Trump. It's crazy how Alex Jones, for years, was talking about this elite pedophile ring that was raping and torturing and killing children. And now he is finally proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be right. He was completely correct on that. And now he has to pussyfoot around the subject, just tiptoeing, walking on eggshells because some of his friends are in there. Dude went from secretly filming Bohemian Grove to being best buddies with its members. So now we all know that this is correct. Alex Jones could have taken a victory lap on this shit, but instead he's been preoccupied with 6'7" Labubu and whatever other dog shit that is. And anytime he mentions the Epstein files, he has to do so with Trump's cock in his throat about it. He only focuses on those easy, low-hanging fruit of the Epstein files like Bill Clinton. Alex Jones explores the Epstein files like this with his hands over his eyes, really scared, making sure to put on the blinders so he could block out all of his friends' names so he can laser focus on easy shit like Bill Clinton, who everybody knows is guilty.
Oh my gosh, dude. This is amazing. Yes, everyone is retarded. That is what we are learning from the internet these days, that everyone is retarded. Right now, I said it yesterday. I feel like the most level-headed person might be Steven Crowder. Now, I haven't been watching him recently, but just, in general, it feels like Steven Crowder might be the one guy that seems to be not crazy as fuck. Holy shit, man. Everything's wild. Heavy D, give us some Z Cups. Watching that debate was tough. Grabthar's hammer between Ventura's. Why don't you tell me? And Bernthal's, let me ask you something. You can deal with most situations. That's very true. Quentin says Galaxy Quest, Toy Story 2, Man on Fire, or The Dark Knight Rises. Of these four movies, Man on Fire, Toy Story 2, then Galaxy Quest, then The Dark Knight Rises. That's it right there. So of these four, Man on Fire, Toy Story 2, Galaxy Quest, Dark Knight Rises. Love all of them, but Man on Fire is Man on Fire. So Thermy Wormy says the same people attacking Trump for lying are trying to cover up for Elijah Schaffer. Yeah, that guy. Yikes. Mar Millen says he's upset that the polls are down for Trump, so he's just upset that Trump has done a very, very risky move with this Iran stuff. He's gloom and dooming, plus back to drinking, so it adds to it. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people are panicking because, again, I got people coming after me like crazy, about oh, I can't believe you're still supporting Trump and all that. I don't care. I'm not going to be affected by that, but a lot of people are affected by that. And the poll numbers and all of that. Miniature Valentine says Alex has flipped pro anti-Trump 50 times since 2016. That is true. Let's see. Thunder's Wrath says, what have we done? Trump, through God, has done everything. All you've done is lose your own company and money. The whiny rhino is now an expert and someone listen to. Get out of here. Never liked him. I've always loved Alex Jones, but you got to call it like you see it, man. It's what he's doing right now is insane. Big Who says, I'll bet Alex tried to get a meeting with Trump and was denied. Now he's butthurt about it. That's probably realistic. What up, ABF? Classic Sting Lover says, Alex is almost there. Jake says, just want to wish you a great day today. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Thank you. Waffle Master says, Alex Jones sounds like one of my friends when I tell them I can't go out drinking that night. All right. Well, I got to get ready for Tuesday's main event. So we're going to end it there. Don't forget to subscribe to D-Day Cobra 2. And Tuesday night's main event is happening on the main Geeks and Gamers channel tonight. So we'll see you guys over there. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait. So thank you so much. Man, there's a lot to talk about. I might do another CobraCast tonight. But I got to end with Sabaton for Kate Banfield. I don't know if she's here, but Kate, we're going to end with Sabaton just for you. Have a good evening, everyone. And I'll see you for Tuesday night's main event. Bye, everyone.